because there aren't enough days in the week. But it currently just makes me so uncomfortable. I don't like the idea. I was made for this. I was made for this. No fear, no insecurities, just vibes. Like in the past, I used to black out all the time and I was so unhealthy and I was overweight and I was chasing men that didn't care about me and I was insecure and depressed and getting a degree I didn't care about. Never fucking feeling like this again.
Hello, hello, what is up? Welcome back to another episode 6, I believe, in my bikini prep vlog series. I am on my last leg of this Costa Rica retreat that I'm hosting, this plant medicine retreat that I'm hosting. Quite literally just ended a run through the beautiful, oh my gosh, as you can see, Costa Rican jungle the entire trip. I still figured out a way to get the work in, to check some boxes, to lean out, to pour into myself while I still held space and presence for all of the women that I'm hosting. So before we get into this video, I just wanted to pop in and remind you guys that if this content is helping you, if it's entertaining you, if it's inspiring you, whatever it may be, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like it. The support really goes a long way in continuing to create the content and knowing what you guys like. So without further ado, I won't take too much of your time. Let's get into this Q&A.
Welcome to another vlog. I'm in Costa Rica and having the best time hosting 4 women in a week of plant medicine work and exploration and healing and transformation. It just makes my heart so happy. I want to show you guys this view that I'm looking at outside of my bedroom. It is such a dream. We're eating such good food. We're doing such good work, such good laughs. I'm in my happy place. Definitely missing prep, but also just being so present and so immersed in this beautiful experience that we're having. But hi, thanks for being here and thanks for listening to my little ramble about Costa Rica. If you hear some background noise, so sorry about that. They're watching a movie in the other room, but I wanted to shoot a bikini bodybuilding competition prep Q&A for you guys. I'm obviously not vlogging this week because I really want to be present with these ladies, but I figured I can still take an hour out of the week, get some questions together that you guys have asked and answer them for you, and that way you still get some content and we don't have to wait too long in between vlogs. And I've been getting so many questions that the questions were coming before I even had the idea to do a Q&A. Like, people really just want to know what's going on, what I'm eating, how I'm training, some mindset stuff. So here we are. Without further ado, I don't want to keep this intro too very long. I have my laptop here with me because I'm obviously recording this video on my phone. So my laptop has the questions on it. I have compiled all the questions. I put them into categories, 4 categories: training, nutrition, mindset, and miscellaneous, because those were the first 3 were obviously like the big ones, and then we just have like 3 miscellaneous ones that are just about me and my personal life and have nothing to do with prep at all. But you guys asked, so wanted to give the information. Actually, really quick, just a quick update about prep in Costa Rica. I've gotten a few cardio sessions in. I couldn't the last few days just because we've been deep in plant medicine work, but I'm doing my best, just being mindful about food, still leaning out, scale weight's still going down. It's good, like my coach is saying, like it's okay that I missed 2 days of cardio and whatnot, because when I get back, we're doing a big push and like having the least amount of stress on my body will be great. Taking a break off of training, off of cardio, off of like strict meal tracking, it's gonna set us up for a really positive and responsive push when I get back from Costa Rica. So that's how prep's going. I am just doing my best, but I'm not falling behind. We're so far ahead, so it's okay. Without further ado, prep Q&A for you. I got so many questions about cardio, so we're gonna start in the training portion. How much cardio do you do? And do you do any stretches to prevent cramps and injury? So this is gonna be boring, but a lot of my answers to these questions are gonna be, it depends. I'll tell you my personal experience of what's going on in my life right now, but information for your life and what you should do, like it's always just, it depends. So just a forewarning right now, you do not have to do exactly what I'm doing to reach your goals. But I currently am doing 45 minutes of cardio a day. My heart rate has to stay above 125 beats per minute during that entire cardio session. And I typically, my watch says I'm typically burning like right around 400, 420 calories for that entire session. But it depends. Like I started prep doing only 15 minutes of cardio a day, and we've slowly bumped it up. And of course, we'll bump it up more as I need to get more lean. So it just depends on you and your goals. If your goals are to be just like everyday lifestyle lean, like maybe you only need 2-3 days of cardio a week for 20 minutes. Just depends. And then any stretches I do to prevent cramps or injury, that's something I could do better at. I just transparently don't do a lot of mobility, and that will probably catch up to me someday with the amount that I train and the things I do to my body. But before I train, I'll do like 10 to 15 minutes of just like slow, light, full body stretching. I'm not doing a full warm up, a full mobility routine. The only thing I'm really mindful of when it comes to my mobility is my hip flexors, because they've always been tight. Like it got to a point one time in training where I couldn't even do back squats because my hip flexors were so tight. So I'm really mindful about that. And just really quick, I'll show you like a hip flexor move that I do. So I'll do this a few times each side. I'm just like lifting, I'll send my leg all the way back, the bed's in the way. But I'm doing a lot of those just to keep my hip flexors moving before I train. But yeah, I don't do a lot of mobility, so I'm not the right gal to ask for that. Just a light full body stretch before every training session. Some down dogs, yoga poses, cat cows, hit my hamstrings, hit my shoulders. Is it better to do strength and cardio on different days? Again, it depends on your goals. If you're a bikini competition prep, you're gonna end up doing them on the same day because you're training so much, you're doing cardio so much. There's not enough days in the week to keep them separate. But if you're just looking for everyday lifestyle, losing some body fat, you can do them on separate days. If you're gonna do them on the same day, I would say train first, because I think gaining muscle and getting stronger is more important. And so you wanna do the thing that needs the most of your energy first. But I do them on the same day because there aren't enough days in the week. What does your workout schedule look like? So I'm currently training 5 days a week, a posterior day, a pull day with some delts added onto it, a glute and hamstring day, a glute and quad day, and then a full upper body day. Those are all the training sessions I'm doing, not in that order, but I'm training 5 days a week. And then cardio every single day in the morning for 45 minutes fasted. What's more important, diet or exercise? Depends on your goals. More important is very vague. If your goals are fat loss, being mindful about your diet, I think is gonna be more important. If your goals are strength, definitely your training program is gonna be most important. If you're in a bikini competition prep or something similar, both are very important. So just get clear on what your goals are. I'm just kind of zipping through these. It's only been 7 minutes and I am already almost through the whole entire training session. And then, how many days do you do cardio, what method, and for how long? I kind of answered a little bit of that already, but the method that I use is stair stepper. I tried running, my coach said quit to do the stair stepper. And from the other videos I've watched from other coaches, other competitors, and all the things, that seems to be the most efficient, best cardio method to get you the stage results that you're wanting. I do burn the most cardios running, but it's just so hard on your ankles when you're that lean. You can't be running 4, 5, 6 miles a day once your cardio time gets up there. So stair stepper. And then, are you training alone or are you doing it with a friend? I'm training alone. Even before prep, I've always been a training alone girly. Like, put my headphones in, nobody talk to me, I'm in my zone. It's like my alone time, my meditation. And I used to think it was like corny when I heard people say that. Like, oh, it's your self-care time, but it genuinely is. I don't like for my workouts to be interrupted. Like, if someone at the gym needs to tell me something, I gotta take out my headphones, it messes up my whole flow. when I'm training with a friend, we're like conversing, and it just takes away from the focus that I want to give to my lifts. And so I really do prefer to train alone. That is not for everyone though. Some people like a training partner to push, and so just find what works the best for you. Again, it depends. I do think it could be beneficial though, just to have someone going through the process with you if you're competing. I've heard it can be really isolating. I don't feel isolated at all. I still feel very social, very bonded with my people. But yeah, I'm doing it alone. And that is the entire training portion. Zooming through it. I hope you guys are getting some good information from it. Let's talk about nutrition. So these are not in any order, like they're just random from when I pulled them from all my different platforms. So I don't even know what's gonna come next. Can beans or lentils be a sub for chicken and beef? It depends. Again, that's gonna be like, let's put a counter of how many times I say it depends in this video. They are a protein source, and so the reason I say it depends is just like, obviously the macros aren't going to be exactly the same, so get really clear on what your macro guidelines are and the goals you need to be hitting there, and see if beans and lentils can help you hit that if you don't want to eat meat. But yeah, they're a protein source just in general. They should be fine. When you're in the off season, what's your favorite carb to have the most often? I love sweets, so sugar. Anything sweet. I love chocolate chip cookies. I've been loving bowls of cereal, sweet potato with peanut butter on them, any kind of potato. I love bread. This is a hard question. Any carb, but if I had to narrow it down, I would say some sort of dessert. I love sweets. I also love salty foods. I just love food. Like, food is an enjoyable experience for me. And carb loading, do you have to up your calorie intake, or do you just lower your proteins and fats to make it fit? Both. So I've only done one carb loading process with my coach so far, one carb loading day. And he both raised my calorie allotment for the day and lowered my protein and my fat goals. So carbs were just up that day. So many carbs. I have a vlog. I vlogged the whole experience if you guys want to check that out, but both is what I did. Can you show us more food? Lunches and dinners, full day of eating. I'm currently cutting, so low calorie meals are appreciated. I show so much food on my Instagram. Maybe I haven't been as diligent with that on my vlogs. I apologize for that. I definitely have shared some meals, many meals in this vlog series, maybe not the specific details of macros and recipes and all the things, but I'll show my food before I eat it. Follow me on Instagram if that's something you're really interested in, the details of and the recipes and what's the macro breakdown. I have a whole highlight thingy on my Instagram page, and I just made an Instagram page just for food. It's called LeaLikesBites. I'll put it down below in the description, but I've been loving just having fun with food lately. And so that is where you can find like all of the food information. And there's a lot. There's a lot of it on my main Instagram page, on the highlights, and it has everything. So check it out there. Do I have lower carbs on rest days, or is everything consistent? I personally, up to this point, have the same macros every day. It doesn't matter if I'm training or if I'm resting. I don't know if that will change as prep goes on. I still have tons of time left. So I'll try to keep you guys updated if I remember on how that process is, but I have the same amount of carbs on rest days and on training days. Do I follow macros or a meal plan? I do. I follow macros. Currently, I believe I will be put on a meal plan as soon as I get home from Costa Rica, because that's when we're really gonna hammer at home. That's when we're really going to go hard on like rapid fat loss and get me stage ready. Currently, I am following macros, so I have a bit more flexibility in what I can and can't eat as long as it fits within the guidelines. And then I got 2 questions submitted specifically for this video, like, tell me what your macros are, can you share what your macros are, what's the breakdown? And I get them all the time just in general, but 2 specifically for this video, and transparently, I won't. I will not share what my macros are. Maybe someday in the future my mind will change, but it currently just makes me so uncomfortable. I don't like the idea, because I would hate for someone to hear the macro breakdown of what I'm eating and think that's what I need to eat. Specifically because a bikini prep is an extreme sport. It's not for like just everyday healthy fat loss. And so my macros at some point will just not be sustainable for the everyday person that's watching these vlogs. And I don't want to give someone the idea that they need to eat like I am, and they need to look like I am, and they need to follow the things that I'm doing. So I feel uncomfortable sharing my macros, and so I won't. The second part of someone's questions is just curious to see how all the cool recipes you share fit into an average day on prep. I feel like I already share those details. I share the calories of the meals that I'm eating. I share the macro breakdown of the meals that I'm eating. I just don't share like the big overall picture of like, this is how many calories I'm eating in a day. But I'll show it meal by meal, and so you can kind of conclude on your own. And if you want to know how the meals that I'm making can fit into your macro breakdown, just take the meals that I'm making and adjust the portion sizes. If your macros are, you have a bigger calorie allotment or a smaller one, put a little bit more protein powder, put a little bit less, put a little bit more fruit, a little bit less. And so I don't think you need to know my macro breakdown in order to know how my meals can fit into a day, an average day of just like eating healthy. Again, someone asked about low calorie meal ideas. Check out my Instagram. Literally everything I put into my mouth, it's on my Instagram page. It was so excessive at one point that I just made a whole Instagram page for food, so definitely check that out. We're already to the mindset portion. Gosh, we're zooming through this. I thought this was gonna take me like an hour. Did you feel any insecurities or fears going into prep? What about now after a few weeks of learning about the process? I wouldn't say I felt any insecurities physically, like the way that my body looks. I was in a really, really good place mentally, body image wise, relationship with food wise when it comes to where I was at going into prep. I did experience some, not fear, just awareness around like I do have a history of disordered eating, and so I knew there was a possibility for some of those like negative thought loops to revisit. However, that did not concern me because I was so confident and so trusting in myself to navigate that in like a healthy, non-toxic way if or when they did come up. And so I would say I had like a heightened awareness, but not a fear around what the prep process would look like for me. And so just being mindful about that. And then now after a few weeks of learning about the process, I love it. No fear, no insecurity. I literally wake up every day and I'm like, I was made for this. I was made for this. I just feel so in my pocket. Like I said in my last vlog, it's like the first time in my life where I'm like, no imposter syndrome. This is where I belong. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm good at this. And I've really shown that to myself. Of course, frustrations come up around, not frustration, that's the wrong word. Just like feelings of hunger come up when you're in a calorie deficit. And that's true whether you have a history of disordered eating or not. And so that has come up, like feelings of hunger and like, I should eat this or I shouldn't or whatever. And I've navigated it so well, and I've kept such a loving inner narrative around those things. And I'm proving to myself that I've done the inner work and I can balance both. And that was my main goal coming into this process. Literally, you can see in the first vlog, in the podcast episode I put out before I started vlogging even, I was like, my main goal is to marry the heart and the ego, to know that you can have these like goals to compete and to win and to put on muscle and get a bigger butt and get big abs, and like that does not mean you don't like the way that you look. It doesn't mean you hate yourself. It doesn't mean you have to have a toxic mindset to get there. And I'm just every single day showing that to myself that like there's room for the entire spectrum of the human experience. Like you're this loving part of yourself that's like gentle and kind and wholesome, can also hold space for like this person that wants to like compete and win and be savage mode. And so I feel like I'm navigating it really well. That was a really long-winded way of saying No fear, no insecurities, just vibes. Just loving vibes and fun vibes and like confident vibes. I'll keep you guys updated on that though. How did I learn to just surrender and trust the process? I'm assuming this question has to do with the last vlog that I posted around frustration about the scale weight. Something that I practice is just like turning off my feelings and just observing them objectively and realistically. Because something that's important to remember is our feelings are not facts. Like, we don't have to believe everything we think. We don't have to take action on everything we think. Of course, we can't control the feelings that come and the intrusive thoughts that come, but we can control what we do with them. I was feeling those feelings of frustration. I was feeling those feelings, of course, of frustration, of impatience, of like maybe even a little bit of worry about my scale weight not moving. And like, I welcomed those thoughts and I saw them and I observed them and I paused before I took any action on them. Like, I gotta course correct, I gotta overcompensate, I gotta go off the plan and like make my scale weight move regardless of what my coach says. I'm like, okay, one, you're not you've never competed in bodybuilding before, you don't know anything about it. How naive and like egoic of you to think that you know more than your coach. Two, you're paying him to tell you how to do it because you've seen what you can do, you've seen what he can do, and you've seen his award first place winning physiques. So why would you try to take control of the situation and go off the program? And then it's just like, I know my past and my patterns of like trying to control, like over control the way my body looks and overcompensating, and like if I have dessert one night, restricting the whole entire next day. And I've seen what that has done for me and it doesn't work. And so trial and error there. Surrender truly is the only thing that's worked for me after years and years of working on my relationship with myself and with food. And so to sum all of that up, I remind myself that my feelings aren't facts and I don't have to believe them. I hired my coach for a reason because he knows more than I do. So like, my ego can shut up and take a back seat because he knows what he's doing. And then this ain't my first rodeo with trying to lose fat. And the like hyper controlling approach hasn't worked in the past, so why would it work now? And so those are probably the key top 3 things that I lean on when I get worried about the scale weight not budging, or just in general, just in life. We trust. Just in general in life, trust and surrender and release and just allowing things to be is truly so peaceful. And so I always try to practice that regardless of what avenue I'm walking down. How did you push past mental blocks when you didn't feel confident looking in the mirror? You mentioned you used to black out 3 to 4 times a week and be unhealthy and unhappy in the past. Okay, so let me break this down. In my last vlog, I shared a little bit about, just very briefly for like 30 seconds, I gave a quick rundown of like, in the past, I used to black out all the time and I was so unhealthy and I was overweight and I was chasing men that didn't care about me and I was insecure and depressed and getting a degree I didn't care about. That's essentially how I explained it. It was so fast, just like boom, 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 here's a little bit of my story. And so this is what this question's coming from. Someone said, how did you push past the mental blocks when you didn't feel confident looking in the mirror? So I didn't for a long time. I struggled with disordered eating for 6 years before I finally was like, oh shit, I'm struggling with disordered eating. And then like really diligently went on a healing path for 2 years before I felt like I had it under control. And then probably the last year is when I've really just been at peace with myself. And so I didn't push past the mental blocks for a long time. And I think for me, and similar for a lot of people, it took hitting rock bottom where I had a day where I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I cannot go another day living like this, feeling like this, looking like this, having this internal narrative, eating like this. And so it was just a decision. I made a decision that day. And I tried making the decision many times in the past, so I'm not gonna say it's like a one and done. Just decide, just choose, because it was 6 years of like, I wanna be different. But it really did just boil down to like rock bottom. One day I was like, I'm never fucking feeling like this again. And I asked for help. That's scary to be vulnerable and say I can't figure this out on my own. But I think that was a key piece. I hired a personal trainer, I hired a mindset coach, and like ironically, I now do both of those things. And I got help and had someone hold me accountable and guide me through it, and they had been through it, and they could relate to me and give me the tools and help me to see the answers and the healing that I already had inside of me. So I think that's a good piece of advice. And this feels like an inappropriate time to say this, but I do genuinely feel it in my heart. Whoever asked me this question, like, my coaching information is linked below, and I'm more than happy to chat about how I can support you and help you in your journey back home to yourself. So that's how I got past the mental blocks, is just like one day I'd had enough of my bullshit. And like, that's another one, like having fucking honest conversations with yourself. Why am I spending now 6 years of my life bullshitting around when I know what I need to do? And so just accountability, honest, really uncomfortable conversations with myself. I hope that helps. And I have old podcast episodes on this YouTube channel that you can listen to where I talk a lot about my mental health journey. Okay, that's the mindset portion. And then miscellaneous. We have 3 miscellaneous questions that have nothing to do with prep whatsoever, but the people wanted to know. So, is the tape on your collarbone because you'll get a copyright for showing the tattoo under it? So I wear a tape on my collarbone over a tattoo that I have here. And it's just because I'm getting the tattoo removed. Like, there's no silly reason. I'm getting the tattoo removed, and you cannot get sun on the tattoo removal spot because your skin will just get overly damaged. So I keep it covered because I'm always in the sun. It's just easiest that way. So I'm not always worried about this getting damaged, and I can just go about my day freely out in the sun. So that's why I keep it covered. I got the tattoo when I was 16, and I just don't like it anymore. So getting it removed. Are all your friends happy and supportive on this journey? Yes, I would say all my friends are, my family is, my fiance is. My fiance was protective at first, Papa Bear. He loves me and he cares about me, and he knows my history with body image and disordered eating. So he just really wanted me to be diligent in research and really dig in and see if this is the right path for me. And so he shared some concerns at first, but once I decided, like, hey, I trust myself and I know this was right for me, he was on board because he trusts me, but he just really encouraged me to deeply think about it first. And so he was never not supportive. He was just like, hey, do you think about it, okay? And I appreciate him for that. He cares about me. But yes, all of my friends are happy and supportive. I have gotten many comments of like, oh, you're gonna be so hungry, you're gonna be so miserable, that's such a hard thing to do. And I'm sure there are people that are thinking worse things that they maybe haven't shared, because that is, people judge, and that's okay. But I wouldn't say those people are my friends. They're like acquaintances or just people on social media or people that I've chatted with in passing. But like my genuine core people are so happy for me because they see how happy I am and they see how happy this makes me. And like, why would you not want that for your friend, for your daughter, for your fiance, for your sister? They all want that for me. And so of course they're on board. If this was something I was doing and I was fucking complaining and miserable and starving every day, they would probably not be as supportive, but they just see like the glow and the happiness and the joy and the fulfillment and the purpose that I'm feeling from this, and they want that for me. And if there was someone in my life that felt otherwise, they probably wouldn't be in my life anymore. And then last, this one's so random. Are you planning a wedding or waiting a while? I am. So we got engaged last August, and right now it's June. So 10 months ago. I love him. We are planning a wedding. We're getting married January 13th, 2024, down here in beautiful Costa Rica. So by the time we get married, our engagement will have been like a year and August, September, October, November, December, a year and 5 months. So we're about six and a half months out from we're about 7 months. Oh my gosh, I don't know. However many months. It's June right now. I'm getting married in January. we're that many months away from my wedding, and it's happening. And this was not on purpose whatsoever, but my show dates and prep just aligned timeline-wise. Oh, words are hard. My show dates and my prep aligned timeline-wise to where right when prep is over in October, then Thanksgiving comes, then Christmas, then my birthday, then the wedding, then his birthday, all within a 90-day span. And so I'll get to enjoy the holidays and my wedding and my birthday, not on prep. And that is just so perfect, so aligned, and that literally wasn't even on purpose. When I talked with my coach, we just, from where we were starting, he felt like September and October shows were great, and the stars aligned for me to not have to be on prep right before or right after my wedding and the holidays and stuff, or during, I mean. So I'm really grateful for that.
Hi, it's Leah from the future. It's the me that just recorded the intro clip about my run, but I got 2 more questions after I recorded the Q&A, and I want to make sure I get everyone's questions answered. So just really quickly, one of the questions was, does meal timing matter? But not to me. I've never worried about what time I ate, aside from I try to get food in before I train. Aside from like, should you get protein in within an hour after training or whatever, that's a saying that, or not a saying, that's a bit of information that a lot of people try to follow. I personally don't. Now, of course, it depends on your goals. Like my fiance does Ironman, and like his meal timing matters. And maybe my meal timing will matter as prep goes on, but as I currently answer this question, it does not matter and has not never mattered to me, but maybe it will in the future. I just eat when I'm hungry. And then that perfectly goes into the next question, was, what is my go-to pre-workout meal or snack? So I've shared in the vlog a little bit before, kind of testing out what is carby enough to give me enough energy, but also like has some fats and proteins to keep me full through the workout, because I train with a lot of intensity and I be digesting, so I be hungry. I started with like rice cakes and honey on it, and I was like, oh, that's way too light. So then I switched to a bowl of cereal, and I still was just burning through it too fast. Smoothie was great. I finally landed on a bowl of oats with a scoop of protein in it. So that is my current obsession with my pre-workout meal. Who knows, maybe it'll change, but I would recommend definitely something carby, because obviously that is what your body is going to use, is going to pull from the most for energy if you need that energy. But okay, back to past me.
That's all the questions. I hope this was helpful. I know I zoomed through them, but nobody likes an hour-long Q&A. I did my best to be super efficient, but still detailed in answering them and not hold back too much. I'm so happy that I still got to get out a video for you guys while I'm down here in Costa Rica. Creating this content and being in this process has been so much fun for me. Such a light in my life. And if you guys have any more questions, maybe closer to show day, I'll do another Q&A, or no, I don't know if this is gonna be a surprise, whatever, I'll just put it in the video. I'm gonna do a Q&A with my coach, and like obviously that's gonna look way different from someone who is on the other side of this thing and knows this sport so well, and I'm excited to share his voice with you guys. So if you have any questions for him, let me know. Like if you're wondering, like what are some things that a coach, like a random question that just came to me is like, how does a coach know when someone's ready to go into an extreme dieting phase? Or like, does he take into accountability mindset before taking on a client? Because this is like a really extreme thing, or what's something that a client does that bothers you, or whatever. These are all things that my coach can share with you if you want to know, so leave some questions below. He will be making an appearance on this channel, and that is going to be it for this video. I'm going to go continue enjoying hosting these beautiful ladies on this retreat down here in Costa Rica, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Oh, yeah.